What's up, YouTube? Today, we're gonna talk productivity. We're gonna talk morning success formulas. We're gonna talk how to smash and destroy your day, how to outperform 99% of everyone else. Okay, let's dive into it. All right, so I know that the topic of productivity, morning routines, millionaire success routines, it's a pretty big niche now, right? Let's look back the last 5-10 years, it's really grown. Like it started with just Tim Ferriss kind of recreating that whole niche and market by talking about the 4-hour work week. Who do we have after that? We had Dave Asprey, I think, came after that. Ben Greenfields and those types came after that. And now Andrew Huberman's really, really popular. But the core ethos of what they're talking about having these different things that you do each day that help create more momentum and success in your life. It's 100% true. So it's a beautiful thing that there's so many people now talking about this. So today, in this video, we're gonna cover that. I know it's a little bit different of a topic than what we usually cover on the channel, but understand it ties directly into what we're doing with credit and funding. Okay, so let's say, for example, you've gone out now and gotten yourself another maybe $150,000 in credit over the last 12 to 24 months. First off, congratulations. That's huge, right? Most people are not doing that, okay? But you've got a new set of issues that you're probably facing now. Now, if you've gone and done everything right, you probably started some side hustles, gotten involved in some real estate stuff, and probably one of the glaring issues you've noticed now that's happening is you got time management issues. You're hitting your glass ceiling. You've got too much stuff to do and not enough time to do it in, right? So how do we fix that? Well, we can start to go crazy with productivity stuff and Notion and automating our lives and AI and all of that. Okay, cool. We come all the way back here and start at winning our morning. Because if we win our morning and we have these different routines throughout the day, that over a long period of time is gonna play out positively. Believe me, I've been doing this for like over a decade now. So we're gonna talk about 3 things actually. We're gonna talk about routines, rules, and rituals. Now, I don't remember where I originally heard these 3 things, but I like the structure of it, and it's exactly how I've been applying this stuff in my life for the last decade. So believe it or not, I actually got started with online, internet, marketing, all that stuff a really long time ago, like 2011. And I got into biohacking, it was called back then, in 2012 to 13-ish, right? Started messing around with Chinese herbs. And by then we were like, we were in the depth of the dimethyl for pre-workouts, and everyone was going nuts over that. I think that was back then. But I was looking for how do I get more, right? How do I get more out of my performance? And I was clearly at that time in doing digital businesses, and I was an entrepreneur, and I was fighting with all these issues. I was fighting all these things that we all face, right? With time management and glass ceiling issues and getting things done, fighting our own demons, right? What people don't realize is that, first off, entrepreneurialism isn't for everybody. It's actually extremely hard. The longer you've been in the system, let's call it, the longer you've been an employee, the harder it is to go and be an entrepreneur. And it's simply because the job provides so much. It provides the structure, it provides the processes, it provides everything that you need to be able to do your job. That's why they can put a 16-year-old kid in almost any position in a McDonald's and it's successful, is because they've got all the standardized procedures and processes and all of that all worked out. Well, especially when it comes to the credit funding stuff, like there's really no roadmap, right? So we go start getting this credit funding, and if we're not careful, we can go make a lot of mistakes. Make a lot of mistakes to feed our ego, make a lot of mistakes to finally validate ourselves to our friends, our family, our circle of influence, whatever it might be. So there are a plethora of potholes that we can fall into. As I said, I've been kind of going at this for like a decade. I've invested, I don't even know how much, over $100,000 easily into my own performance and trying to improve that, right? And that's everything from supplementation, nootropics, experimenting with sensory deprivation tanks, microdosing, hiring coaches, going to 3 to 5 day, let me pay to get my ass kicked type trainings to, wake something up, to try and get more structure, to try and grind down and expose more of the diamond, right? Steel sharpens steel, as they say. So we have to continually, go and do these uncomfortable things to grow. And I don't know if you've noticed on the channel, but I'm pretty big on growth. That all being said, I actually have created some stuff around this space too. I don't know if I'm gonna release it under this video, that's not the point of it, but wrote a book on nootropics when I was deep in research. This was like a 3 to 5 year period where I went out and did a ton of research and experimented obviously on myself, and then kind of put together the pieces from there. We created a course called Peak Performance for Entrepreneurs that was released on Udemy. I think there's over 1,700 students that have now taken that course, and we've created a few other courses. I think we got a Peak Mindset course on Udemy as well. But anyways, the point is that been doing the peak performance game for a long time, and the thing that I want to give you now is really what's stuck, because there's a ton of stuff that I've tried, there's a ton of things that I didn't like, right? And I want to give you what's stuck. Now, one last caveat: if you find yourself stuck in just grinding out the day to try and tick these boxes on your to-do list, or to try and tick these boxes on your Notion spreadsheet or whatever you're using right now, and you don't find yourself getting a lot of actual work done and you don't actually feel productive, it might be time to take a step back, cool down, and reassess what you're doing. I've actually had this happen many times. We were using spreadsheets then because Notion wasn't really around, but it was the same kind of game to where I'm like spending my whole day trying to tick the box of like, oh yeah, did my green smoothie, did my 3rd meditation, did my 15th this, did my, but I'm looking back on the day and there wasn't actually a lot of like stuff that was getting moved down the field, down the, towards the finish line. So again, if you're finding yourself in that group, then really pay attention to the rest of this video because I think a lot of this will help you. Okay, so let's now dive into the routines. I've got 10 of them here, and I'm gonna try and go as quick as I can through this because I don't want this to be like a super long bloated video, but there is some context to add to just about every single one of them. So first piece, and you're gonna hear this across the boards with any, I guess, peak performance guy, wake up early. Okay, that could be 4 a.m. for you, could be 5, 6. I would just say after 6 a.m., you're not really waking up early. Everyone waking up at 6:30, 5:30 to 6:30. I mean, the whole world's woken up by then, right? So I would just argue that it's sometime between 4 and probably 6. For about 3 to 4 years, I was waking up every single day, except Saturdays, Sundays, at 4:30 a.m. I think I'd be to the gym by about 5, and I'd be done by 7 or 7:30, depending on the workout. I was training 6 to 7 days a week at the time, all hypertrophy, bodybuilding style workout. It was way over the top, but I just want to give you this as context of just how powerful that is, because by the time I'd get done at 6:30 or 7 a.m., look at what I've already accomplished. I've already accomplished an hour-long workout. I haven't even checked any of my phone, anything like that, because it was all about waking up, getting myself stretched out, getting my pre-workout in me, getting all my pills and potions together, and then getting out the door and getting to the gym. Then, working myself through these sets, run myself through the meat grinder every single day, because these workouts are extremely hard. To give you an example, Friday's workout every single week was a 1,000 rep workout. So it'd be like 100, squats at 135. It'd be 100 pull-ups, whether they were weighted or not. 100 dips, and depending on the week and how much pain that I might have been going through at the time, I would adjust accordingly. But Friday's workout was always a 1,000 rep workout. Saturday's workout was a 10 by 10 out of the track. So I'd warm up with a 400, and then I'd hit sprint down, walk back, sprint down, walk back 10 times. I think the distance was about 40 yards. So this was just my routine. And then Sundays, I would take the day off. The early morning wake up. And if you want to go to the gym every day or just sweat in some kind of capacity, that's another one that you need to focus on. So that's number 2, is we got to sweat each day. That could be from yoga, that could be from running, that could be from going to the gym. Really just fill in the blank. Something that is going to get you out of your comfort zone, get you to challenge, push, and see what you're kind of made of first thing in the morning. It could even be like doing a more extreme sport like surfing or doing something like that. Those would all apply as well. Next is we've got daily gratitude, daily meditation, daily visualization. I separated these out into 3 different things, but you could consider them all one. Daily meditation, I think, is probably the easiest one. Out of this, you could do a self-guided track. I'm sure they've got apps and stuff that you can use for this. You could just sit by yourself, focus on your breathing, pulling in deep breaths from the pit in the bottom of your stomach all the way on up, imagining your chakras getting realigned. There's so many different strategies you can use for that. But meditation and slowing yourself down is really, really powerful throughout the day. Where you put this throughout the day, a lot of people do it in the morning, and it's entirely up to you. But I would just argue that if you're not getting started until 10, 11 a.m. in the morning, like with your day, that's maybe a little too aggressive with what we're stacking first thing. Meditation piece throughout the day, hugely important though, okay? Brings back down your blood pressure, brings back down your heart rate, helps you really like levelize and normal out depending on how much caffeine that you're taking in per day. Next, daily gratitude. So this could be something simple. We start out in the morning and at night. So in the morning, just thank God for a couple different things, 3 things. Tony Robbins does this. Thanks for 3 things in the morning, 3 things at night. So you could do that. You could make it more difficult if you want to, but just keep it simple. So waking up and just giving that daily gratitude is huge. Before we go to bed, we give gratitude for the day. Now we could actually add in another piece here and another layer if you wanted to, and that would be to where in the morning, we visualize how we want the day to go, at least at a bare bones basic level. Like we could just say something like, today's gonna be the best of my life. When's the last time you actually said that? Have you ever actually said that to yourself? So again, might want to start there. And then at the end of the day, let's go back over events that we thought didn't play out the way we wanted them to, or even bad events, and let's reprogram those. Let's play those out going the way we wanted them to. So that way we're not starting to stack up guilt and shame and all these traumas and stuff that now build over time. Instead, we're dissolving that right here, right now, and then we can move on and clear out that space, right? That could be your visualization piece, or when you're just like high as a kite on your stimulants, on your nootropics, caffeine, whatever, just take a couple minutes and build out your future, right? We have to have some sort of future-based destination that we're going to, right? Everyone's got to have one of those. So build that out. Add color. add sounds, add people, add life to it so that that looks and feels more real. Because as you've probably gathered, if you've been in the productivity space for a while, is that the neurochemistry pieces of it, they can't tell the difference. Like your brain doesn't know the difference between real and fake. It doesn't care actually. But the more we can make it real by adding in, the auditory, kinetic, etc., then it makes it more real. So then we're more likely to believe it, and that means it's more likely to what? Happen. Okay, next we got daily greens, daily smoothie, daily nootropics. These are the next big 3 pieces. I've been taking the same greens for 9 years. I've been taking the same branched chain amino acids, which is called Perfect Amino, for 5 years. Perfect Amino is actually balanced formula of branched chain aminos, and it actually has a protein count to it, whereas most of them don't. Most of them are filled with filler and junk. So anyways, I've been taking the same ones for a very, very long time, and it's because they work and I like them. So I got hooked on greens, I think it was 2013. Been taking the same ones ever since. And that's a long time to be taking the same thing. So daily greens works. And how I mix it is I put greens in with 1 scoop of the branched chain amino. I usually put electrolytes because I'm in high heat and dealing with dehydration issues and stuff like that. So I'll put in a scoop of electrolytes, and then any nootropics that I want to take for that day, I would take right then and right there. Now I could separate that out. I tend to not take a lot of this stuff because I have sensitivity to caffeine and nootropics especially. So I take very, very baby scoops. Like my scooper is so small, and I start there and I just kind of dose into the day. Again, take it for what it is. Nootropic wise, let's see. Nootropics, I think I've been taking the same ones for the last 10 years. It used to be called Web Nutrients. It's called Nootopia. Absolutely love them. I would just argue that most people, you got to be careful. You got to be really careful because they're very strong, very powerful, and you definitely don't want to dose a full thing like they tell you to dose, like a full canister of the powder. You don't want to do it. Like you want to start with a very, very small amount and then go from there. Definitely suggest that. But anyways, I love those guys. Mark, I remember when he first started this, and now it's morphed and transitioned into, I think it's called Nootopia, like I said. But guys, if you want to send me some free product, for doing your shout out in the video, just, send it my way. I'll take it any day. But yeah, I love their product. So the thing you got to keep in mind with nootropics is we're trying to keep ourselves in a state. That's the whole point. Do you need the nootropics? Do you need all this stuff? Probably not. But in the beginning, you do. We need to build out the habits. We need to build out the subconscious defaults because our operating system is clearly not working right. Because if it was, we'd all be rich, we'd all be millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, right? There would be peace everywhere, there would be no wars, everyone would love each other, and everything would be hunky-dory, right? But clearly, that's not happening. So there are habits, there are bad things that we've got programmed in that we need to shake loose and get out, right? So anyways, let's continue. Daily recovery and work blocks are last. Okay, so daily recovery is pretty self-explanatory, but let me just kind of roll through this. So I know that the popular mantra right now is, especially with the Huberman strategy, I guess we would call it, is like wake up at 5 a.m. and take a cold shower. I think that's part of it. That being said, you don't have to do that. There is testosterone benefits, there is health benefits to this, but just throughout the day, doing some sort of recovery piece is really, really important. So this could be simple. Foam rolling. It could be using the stick, which is just like a foam roller. We could use a massage gun. We could stretch. We could do some sort of UV or sauna treatment if you've got access to that. Or you could just do a cold plunge. So you could just fill up your bathtub with really cold water, put some ice in it if you want to. Do a daily ice bath. That's not really that out of the realm of norm, I guess. Not these days anyways. And just make sure that you add in 1 scoop or 1 cup of sodium bicarbonate or baking soda and Epsom salt or magnesium, because those 2 things really help with removing a lot of muscle soreness. So delayed onset muscle soreness, I'm sure you've felt it day 2, day 3 after you've hit the gym really, really hard. So to help cut down on recovery times, putting a cup of both of those in your bath is like, I've used that formula for so long, I don't even know. And I wouldn't live without it. Okay, lastly is working in time blocks. Now I've experimented with this and played around with this quite a bit. You've got the Pomodoro technique, which is like a 25-minute timer. And then you stop and get up and take a breath, take fresh air, and then come back. 25 minutes, I don't know why that ever worked. It was never gonna work for me. I'm more of a 1 to 2 hour block guy, and then I can go take a break. I wanna get out of the physical space. I need to go get some fresh air and go reset, and then let's come back. You could take that time to then go reset with a meditation. Again, we're trying to squeeze that into our day, right? Or you could do anything that you wanted to, and then get back into work. Now, the big thing with work blocks is getting into flow. So I'm gonna cover that actually in rituals, but flow state is where you want to get to so we can have the most productive output. And the more working blocks, days, weeks, months, we can get into and stay into flow, the more productive we're gonna be. This is how you start to perform better than 99% of other people. It's because they don't even know what the heck flow state is. We do, and we're going through a certain ritual to get ourselves into a prime peak state, to get there, access it, and then crush. Like, those staple pieces are what you need to start incorporating into your day, right? So those are the routines. Okay, next let's talk about a little bit of extra credit here. I've got a list. Okay, so cooking more meals at home versus eating out. This is just gonna be a natural one, even if you're not tracking calories, but you're trying to make physical appearance changes. This is just gonna make it much easier for you. Now, I'm talking about a food meal prep service. I'm not talking about like the glorified ones that are just regular foods. I'm talking probably more of like caloric counted based food prep. I would probably stick with that. But again, if you just want to get started, either one would work, okay? You can start to do that to incorporate a more consistent strategy with your calories and with your food. 3 meals a day makes it much easier to do when we actually have that all picked out for us. Next, take Sundays off. Take the day to go rest, recover, go out and be in nature, walk around, ground yourself, whatever it is that you're into, right? But Sundays, taking that day off is huge, especially from work. Like, give yourself permission to take that day off and then actually do it. Weekly date night. So if you've got a significant other, taking them out on a consistent basis just to prove that, you know, in all the madness and all your busy schedule, that you can still go have a date night with your significant other is huge. That's simple. Simple as it sounds, go do that weekly. Monthly, quarterly, sensory deprivation or microdosing trips, entirely up to you, but that would be some extra credit as well. Donate, give back to something quarterly, get involved in some sort of non-profit, or, you know, just donating your time or donating back to your community, giving stuff away from free. You notice I do that on this channel regularly, is because that's part of my game plan. So there it is, being expressed and shown to you as well as discussed, right? At the end of the year, do a year in review. Go back through your year, go back through and look at how much money you made, go back through from a tax standpoint, because you have to anyways with your accountant. You know, look at how your year really unfolded. Look at the big moments, you know, assess, do some sort of AAR, after action report, on that year at minimum, and make a new plan for the next year, right? And then the last one here is daily, weekly, after the event has occurred, do some sort of AAR. Now, this is a military thing. This is an after action report. It just basically means look back over what just happened. Don't avoid it. Don't, you know, store it away in that black box that we're never going to come back into. Look at it. Face it. Take accountability. To, you know, accept what has happened, what has occurred. And then, you know, if you need to make a plan to move forward, then do that, right? All right, let's wrap up with rules and rituals. Here are some of my rules that I'm going to share with you. Don't miss a workout because you're too busy. So if my day is filled up, then I just wake up earlier and I go to the gym earlier. Always do more than what you're planning on doing in the gym. So when I'm feeling like done, like, oh man, I'm done, I've had enough, right? Do one more set, do one more exercise, do one more, you know, do 2 more reps. Like, I do this on a set by set basis. I do this on an exercise by exercise basis and a day by day basis. Don't let the pace of the day shake you out of your daily routine. You get kind of like wrapped up in a monkey mind, and we're going, right? We're stuck in that brainwave pattern, and we forget to slow down and go meditate, or we forget to do this, or we forget to journal, whatever your pieces are, right? We forget to do that. And the excuse is, oh, the day just got so busy. Jay, you just don't understand. This happened. Stop. Okay, so 2 more rules here. Don't take unscheduled phone calls or text during working blocks. So if I am in my zone, in flow, working, I do not have any of the, you know, Telegram, WhatsApp, any of the social media apps open on the computer, Discord, all that shut down. I don't have notifications going off on my phone. There's no vibrations going on. I'm working. That's the whole point of this. So I've got singular focus on this thing. And lastly, shut off notifications on your phone, so that first thing in the morning, you're not actually waking up to a tsunami of what could be disasters, right? So what most people do is they roll out of bed, they look at their phone, they start scrolling social media, they start scrolling their emails, they got all this stuff. Oh, we got bills due, we got people coming at me, you know, we got refunds, we got whatever you got going on, right? So most people are completely reactive right out of the gates as soon as they've woken up. You got to give yourself some time to wake up, shake off the cobwebs, get focused in on today, right? So that's why we have the rules, rituals, and routines, so that we can get locked and loaded for the day. Then we can face those issues head on, take accountability, and deal with them properly. First thing in the morning, we're gonna be all discombobulated. So to dive into stuff like that is just not a great idea. Lastly, let's wrap up with rituals. I'm gonna give you, what do I got here? 3 good ones. I'm gonna teach you my rituals for training new habits, flow state, and public speaking. Okay, let's dive in. Training new habits. You gotta book in alerts when you're trying to train in a new habit. So this could be on your phone, this could be on Google Calendar, somewhere you have to train in these habits. So we have to set reminders, because otherwise we're gonna forget. So we can't just dive right into the finish line, right into the deep end, with expecting to remember when we're gonna carve out these points in time, the work blocks, the meditations, etc. So what I do when I'm training myself on a whole new schedule is I just block in everything. Everything goes into the Google Calendar, or if you're using a different calendar app. And then I'm getting notified, I know what's going on, and then if I give that like maybe a month or less, I'm pretty well trained on that new schedule. And I do that every time I want to shake it up and try and train in new habits. That's what I do. The primary piece is the actual calendar piece. Next thing is I don't skip it, okay? I make sure I get those things in. I also start to support it and back it up with visualization. So visualizing the day with all these new habits now integrated. So it's like no big deal. Because again, me sitting here telling you about all this stuff that I'm doing, to me, it's not a big deal. But if you're not doing any of this stuff, you're probably like, mind blown right now. And the whole thing that we're trying to do is we're just trying to get subconscious to take over. And now that's our new default. And that will occur. So we don't have to do this forever. We just got to do it until it's trained in. Next, flow state rituals. Okay, so flow state is this magical place where we can create. It is the place where creativity just magically merges with our subconscious, and the words and the artistic expression just comes out of us. Okay, it's absolutely insane. If you want to research this deeper, you should. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi is the first guy to talk about it. And then you got Steve Kotler. He's another guy that writes about it frequently, and it's got a ton of research, modern day research on flow state. But essentially, we need to do some high octane stuff. We need to put our life on the line to a degree, and that's when we get into flow state. That's the predominant way that extreme sports athletes and other people would use to do it, but it doesn't have to be that serious. We don't have to put our life on the line just to get into flow. We can use things like nootropics and other mechanisms, the meditation pieces, the gratitude pieces, all of that actually, believe it or not, helps us stay in a more primed state. So the three things that I use to program flow in is, yes, high octane experiences. I mean, even down to an IMAX movie. If it's an all-encompassing IMAX movie, that can do pretty similar things. And then there's audio tracks that we could use. So I'm not gonna give you specific ones, but you could get into some sort of audio track that will help trigger flow in some sort of way. And then thirdly is using nootropics, which this is probably the simplest way. This is the one that most people will reach to, is using some sort of nootropic. And then we have to start to kind of ease ourselves into that. So it's not just that you're gonna take this substance and then magically you're gonna be productive. You're gonna wanna, just ferociously chop down all your to-do lists. It might not work like that. A lot of times we gotta kind of start it off and prime it. So maybe we write a couple emails, or we just write a couple pages of junk letters, or just write for a page or two to get that starting to activate. Or if it's some sort of like maybe IT or web development piece, then we just get started on something easy. Get the website pulled up, let's start kind of going through it, and let's get ourselves primed. 30, 45 minutes in, you'll notice that the monster starts to take over, and before you know it, we're deep in flow. Lastly, public speaking. Now this is a huge one. You gotta understand that I almost failed high school because I couldn't speak in front of people. And now I shoot these videos, hundreds, thousands of videos that I've produced now on this channel and others, because something shifted, something changed. I changed the habits, I changed the belief systems and structures around my ability or inability to be able to speak to people. It really is quite silly, public speaking. I think it's one of the goofiest phobias that we've got, but here we are. I suffer from it just like so many other people suffer from it around the world. So here are my, what do I got here? 4 things to squash this. Okay, first off, before you're about to speak in front of anybody, you got butterflies in the stomach, right? But butterflies and elevated heart rate, that's the same as excitement. Who's dictating if this is nervousness or excitement? Okay, let's just start to reprogram that in. Every time I feel that, oh, this is just excitement. This doesn't have to be anything more than that. Cool, program in the feeling, there. Next, use peripheral vision. There's a lot of data to this, and I break this down in one of my courses actually. I just don't remember it all now because I shot that in like 2015. But if we use our peripheral vision, it takes us out of the option of fight or flight. Fight or flight is based on your direct vision. So that whole response mechanism that's trained in, that gets the panic to start really taking over when we're speaking, we can eliminate 90% of that if we just try and look at the outer edges with our eyeballs, right? So use our peripheral vision, it diminishes that, and it starts to calm that down. While we're doing that, we wanna breathe. We wanna breathe from our stomach. You notice when you're nervous and we're breathing from like the top half of our lungs, and we're not even getting a complete breath. Pull in from your stomach. So do that, and then those 3 things start to take over, and then all we're trying to do, as quick as possible, is get into flow, because when we're in flow, we're gonna start pulling from subconscious. What's great is that whatever you're probably talking about, as long as you're passionate about it, you know it deep down inside. You just have to pull that out. So if we can get past and play some tricks on ourselves to get past these pieces that hit us only when we're first out there, only when we first get started, and we can minimize that, then we have the opportunity to get into flow. We're pulling from subconscious, and maybe we're rocking and rolling. So that's it. I know that was a lot. Hopefully you guys found value in this. But yeah, I'd love to hear your morning routine hacks that you've got that you're applying in your life right now, as well as any of these that really stood out to you that you're going to apply. Comment below, take accountability right now and say, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing this so that we can all help support you in that. And then obviously if you've got something else to say, comment below. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.